What is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? My name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. right here on the Victory Formation Sports Show. We got some special guests in the building today. We have few members from the cast of P-Valley, Morocco Omari, Nicco Annan, and Bertram Williams Jr. How are you guys doing today?
What up, what up, what up?
So, man, we're good. I'm good, brother. I'm good.
Doing great, brother. Thanks for having us, Jeff.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for taking the time out of your busy days. I know you guys got a lot going on. Season 3 was just announced, of course. But before we get into talking about the show, you all were special invites to the Jackson State homecoming. Nicco, I'm going to start with you. When did you find out that you were invited to the game? And kind of how did you feel about being invited to the game and interacting with Coach Prime and the guys at JSU?
Well, contrary to popular belief, I was a great football player back in the day. Oh my God. Wait. Yo, the fact that the whole panel started laughing is a freaking problem. What is going on?
I meant to mute myself. My bad. I meant to do.
It's just this prologue, bro. You started with this.
He started off lying.
Not lying.
Fake news.
No. See, this is the real news. See, this is the thing. We were down at Jackson State, and if you saw my brother here in Morocco, he tends to think that everything is fake news. So we're actually on the news channel, and he's talking.
I seen that.
Yeah, he's on his whole MLK situation while we're actually really talking to the news. And just the same thing here. I am an amazing football player. You
What
don't
position?
want no smoke.
What position did you play?
I don't remember.
What position do you know besides quarterback?
He forgot what position he played. That's hilarious. That was funnier than saying you actually played football. It's forgetting the position. That's even funny.
Right.
I played many a position in my day, brother. I played many a position.
This is the wrong show, Nicco. Wrong show, brother. Wrong show.
No, but it was great. It was a wonderful opportunity. I think it all first started when we were there was conversation on Twitter. Coach Prime, he had started actually talking about the show. And he was very vocal about his journey and process with the show. And I think that really brought a lot of people into the conversation. Some people who may have been naysayers or the lurkies looking from a distance, they really, I think that the conversation that Coach Prime started online opened up a lot of doors and conversations. So through there was correspondence back and forth between he and our Coach Prime, Katori Hall, our showrunner. And that kind of just opened up the doors of communication and accessibility. And he invited us and we showed up.
Yeah, man, you guys showed up and y'all made an impact. Everybody loved to see the cast, man. They had Morocco. I want to ask you, what was the atmosphere like down at JSU during the homecoming? What was the reception to you all, and how did you feel walking into that stadium with all those folks?
See, this is a question. That's the question for Nicco, man, because he was so blown away by the response of the city of Mississippi and the state of Mississippi. I'm sorry, and the city of Jackson. Like, we had a police escort, brother, from the hotel to the stadium. And when I say they blocked off the highway, they wouldn't let people get on. They stopped the other side. It was like the Jackson 5 or the Beatles were in town. And my brother, Nicco, that one right there, he was like, oh my God, did you see this? Oh my God, he's filming and everything. And I was like, you've been here. You know what I'm saying? When we rolled up the bus, man, it was mad love. It was mad enthusiasm. I was ready to run for president, man. I was ready to run for governor. I said, please, people, please give Nicco some love because he looks like he's sour.
As you can tell,
Mississippi showed us mad love, man. It was just like we were on the field. We met Prime on Coach Prime on the 50-yard line. Snoop Dogg was there. He rolled up, gave us. It was just like people that you didn't really expect that love the show like that. was just giving us mad love. And it was just like, oh, wow. Because first season, we were in the middle of COVID. We were masked up. We weren't going out. So we didn't know what the impact of the show was. So being out now, it's like, oh, okay, wow. It's like you wake up one day and it's you got these fans. I mean, you see them online, but to see them in person and to be in Mississippi where the show takes place was a whole nother level. It was just like, I don't know if we get that any place in the States like that, because we were in Mississippi and they really appreciate what we're doing.
Yeah,
absolutely, man. And that's why I was going to ask you, Bertram, the fact that the show, obviously Chucalissa is a make-believe place, but it's based in Mississippi. Do you think
Chucalissa
that's why?
is real, brother. Chucalissa is real.
My bad. Won't do that again. Will not do that again. But the fact that you guys went to Mississippi, y'all went to a venue that seats 60,000, folks, and they all were embracing and loving to you. How did that make you feel, Bertram?
Like Morocco said, man, the love is so authentic and so genuine, and you can feel it in every interaction. And it means the world to us because, there have been seasons where the critique, the critical voice has been pretty loud in and around the South. And I believe that this particular second season, we really earned the respect of the folks who come from the region. And so to hear that, at one point in time, they might have had a certain or a different feeling space, but to really be embracing our characters, the story, and ultimately the show, it did all of our hearts some good. And like I think Morocco mentioned, to see 60,000 Black folks, man, like in harmony, showing unity, supporting that institution, supporting Coach Prime, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, man. It was awesome. It was awesome both to see from afar and to see the love and the support that you guys got. Now, I do want to ask about the show. Season 3, it got renewed for season 3. What was the reaction? Obviously it must have been expected, I imagine, the success of season 2. But what were you guys' reaction? How did you find out the news? And what are the love and support you've been getting since the show has been renewed for season 3?
Come on, Reverend Mama.
Go ahead. What was your situation? What was your reaction, Bertram?
Well, unlike these seasoned gentlemen, like I mentioned to you earlier, Jeff, this is still new territory for me. And so I'm always kind of just happy to be here, And I do think that while the show was crazy successful, there was a period in time when we might have been a little doubtful, questioning whether or not the network saw our value and whether or not they were willing to continue to trust us to tell this story. And so I remember getting a note from Katori. It was a call before the email, and I was sitting with my wife. And it was actually I was with Katori Labor Day at her family's house when she shared the news that it was largely, that it was pretty affirmative that we would be moving forward. And it took everything in me to just not melt, you know what I mean? Because I'm so excited and thankful to still have a job.
Come on.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I love one thing I like, Nicco, is the growth of the characters. Where have you feel like your character has been able to grow through, from season 1 to season 2 and could potentially see them going in season 3?
Well, one of the beautiful things I think is that this show, a lot of people actually underestimate the show, and I think that with the showrunner that we have, there is a clear direction of where the story and these characters are going, and I feel that it's an opportunity for all of us to get to know the characters more, and by their doing so, we also get to know ourselves. I feel that everybody got to know a little bit more of Uncle Clifford and more of Big L and more of Wody through the process of the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? The confinements of being able to get outside of the club a little bit allowed people to see more of the real people and the inner battles and just the machinations of the mind that a lot of the characters go through. I also think that it is just the beginning. You know, when I say people can have underestimated the show, they can say, "Oh, you watching that stripper show," or "Oh, you watching that blah 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 show," whatever, however you may care to deem it in that one statement. And I always tell people that one thing is not true. None of these characters can be boxed into one box. None of these characters are small characters. This is an ensemble cast. We are a group. We move as one, like that fist.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of something that you brought up, Nicco, I want to ask Morocco, but I kind of want to hear from everybody on this. Was there, because of, you know, the whatever may be portrayed of the show for someone who doesn't watch or whatever, when you first got offered the job or was considering taking the job as your characters, Big L, Wody, Uncle Clifford, but Morocco, I'll start with you. Was there ever any second thought? Like, did you ever think like, you know, maybe this ain't what I should be doing, or maybe I don't want this job? Was there ever any of that doubt in your mind?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because if you know Katori, like I was introduced to Katori through New York theater. And I actually saw on 60 Minutes talking about Mountaintop, the play she had on Broadway, and just listening to that sister speak. And I said, I want to work with that woman. I had never met her. And I was like, I want to work with that woman right there. Because just through her, the way, the specificity of a Katori Hall, she writes music that you want to sing. And when she reached out to me, she had saw me in a play on Lincoln Center. She was like, I got a role for you. I said, all right, cool, sister. Wherever I was in Uganda when she called me about when they were shooting in P Valley. And I didn't know anything about it. She's like, I got a role for you. I said, all right, I'll be there. Didn't question anything. I was like, I'll be there. Yeah. Because I was familiar with her writing. I was familiar with her brilliance. I was familiar with how she loves and represents our people. And when it's something you're like, all right, let's go to war. Let's create art. Let's make it. Let's build it. Let's paint it. Let's create some history and let's leave it there. Because I believe in you. I believe in you as a storyteller. I believe in you as a creator. I believe in everything you're doing, and I want to be a part of it. So no, there was no second thoughts on my part.
Bertram, what about you? Was there ever any second thought or anything going on with that?
Yeah, all I can do is echo Morocco's sentiments in that, you know, I have a deep reverence for Katori's work. We come from the same hometown, and so I've been hearing her name for ages, and to see her ascend to the place that she is now in, Pulitzer Prize winning writer, taking shows, multiple shows through the Broadway circuit. When I crossed paths, I all but said, whatever you want me to do, Katori, I'll come and keep the babies. I will come and watch your sons. You know what I mean? How much sugar do you want in your coffee? You know what I mean? It's that type of relationship. As Morocco said, we built a band, almost an army, so to speak, around this lady, and we are ready to go to war to tell these stories that lift up Black culture, that lift up queer culture, and really help us reimagine how we show up in this world and help other people reimagine how they treat us and understand us and respect us. And so, you know, I feel duty bound to continue to tell these stories that she is penning. And so, yeah, it was never a doubt in my mind. So.
Absolutely, man.
I feel like it's one of those things almost that, like, when you look at some of the other major movers and shakers in this thing called Hollywood, you know, sometimes white people can move with an authority of inclusion, and these are my tribe. This is who I'm going to move with. I want to work with this person. I want to work with this person. And you start to build out from that. When I'm thinking about this right now, a person that's coming to my mind is like Ryan Murphy, you know, and Ryan Murphy started off, you know, I don't know where Ryan Murphy actually started off, but, you know, you saw that there was Sarah Paulson a lot in his work. You saw that there were other creatives and there were other writers, there were other designers that he started to assemble himself with to build his style of storytelling. And I feel that Katori Hall is one that has done that through starting, like Morocco said, in theater, because I first met Katori through theater. And I first met her on this project, you know, when it was a play, Pussy Valley. Bertram, you know about Pussy Valley? Yeah, you know, it's a real place. It's a real
Yeah.
place, you know, or was a real place. You know, it's since been torn down and everything like that. But I did not, because it is very rare, and especially when you get into this game, and people always talk about, you know, the acting or being in front of the camera and stuff like that. But to me, like, when you get into this thing of entertainment and being an artist, there's a difference between being an artist and being famous. She was definitely one that she spoke about the things that I knew. She spoke about the people that I knew. She spoke about my uncles, my cousins, my aunties, like my neighbors, like, and there was always everything encompassed in her work. There was drama, there was heart, there was laughter, there was humor. There were the things that made me see myself or think about my life in different ways or expand upon different ideas that I had. So as a creator, like, that's a joy and a huge, rich playground to be in. So there was no hesitation.
That's awesome to hear. I mean, you guys speak really highly of Katori. I mean, it sounds like Katori is really, I mean, watching the show, it's clear, like, it's one thing to write a show, but it's another thing to seem to get along with everybody on the show. How is that relationship between you all and Katori? It sounds like it's really, really awesome, just from the outside looking in.
I hate
Our
everybody,
relationships
bro.
with Katori or with each other?
Yeah.
I hate everybody, boss.
Yeah, he can't. Hey, nobody freaking stand Morocco. You know
what,
Morocco.
Jeff? I stay in character, so
Okay.
I don't like most of the actors. They don't meet me; they meet Big L. You know what I mean? Because I do stay in character. I stay working. I'm just like, you know what I mean? Because I'm so committed to the work that I'm just like, it's easy for me to stay in character. When I'm at work, this is work, and when I'm at home or when I leave, I take work off. So I just stay in my character, brother, you know, and I'm very limited. I'm one of those actors, and I did this since theater. I go to work and I go home. If I connect with people, I connect with them. But most of the times, work and home, man. You know what I mean? Because actors are weird. We're weird. Some of us are crazy. You know what I mean? And you don't want to get into it. You know what I mean? Like, it can get really, you know what I mean? And you're wild. Like, you know, it took us 8 months to shoot this, so it could get really weird. So it's just like, hey, man, you know, I see your work. Cool. I bet. See you later. You know, but that's me. That's how I handle. I treat it like a 9 to 5.
Now, it's interesting that you say that. Bertram, I'll hear from you first, and then I want to come to Nicco. Morocco talks about staying in character. Now, when you're on the screen to the world, you're Uncle Clifford, you're Wody, you're Big L, but in real life, you're Nicco, you're Bertram, you're Morocco. When you go to places like Jackson State or just anywhere, and people recognize you as, oh, that's Uncle Clifford, or oh, that's Wody from the show, like, how does that make you feel? The fact that it's like, yeah, I am Uncle Clifford on screen, but I'm Nicco in real life, or yeah, I'm Wody. So how do you kind of like differentiate? Does it bother you? Is it fulfilling? Like, what is that like?
Well, you know, I think we all benefit, Nicco, Morocco, and myself, in that there are real similarities between us and our characters in some ways. And I think that is something that Katori really leans into as a writer. But for me, I take it all with a grain of salt. I think every entertainer can relate to that encounter where someone is expecting you to say, give me that line, or they expect you to, you know, carry yourself in, you know, with the demeanor of the character, which is a testament and affirmation of the job that we are doing on screen. You know, that people want to see that played out in real time. But I think Nicco is the best at this, at just kind of breaking down that wall. Like, hold on, wait a minute, take a breath. What's your name? Where your mama from? How you feeling today? My name is Nicco. It is very nice to meet you. And so I'm learning from Nicco constantly about how to, like, you know, show love and appreciation for that admiration, but also kind of break down that fourth wall when it's time to really kind of make the space for that real, you know, engagement, or for that moment to take place. But yeah, I got to say I love it, chiefly because, you know, people with my character and the dark turn that I took associate me with being like a a more stern brother, a more stoic, sinister soul. And so, it's nice to be able to kind of, show some balance, because I'm typically a kind of jovial, hugging type of person. And so I like being able to catch folks off guard too.
Yeah. I think we all do the whole catch off guard situation when we're not doing the news. But I feel like
I think that was a dig or something.
Maybe a little bit.
Okay, all right.
I too, like Morocco, like I for the most part, unless something wild and crazy is happening on set, Nicco will come out. But for the most part, like when I go to work, and the transformation happens, I stay in that vibration of Uncle Clifford. So sometimes people, when they had first met me, they thought that I was Uncle Clifford, like in life. But I was like, no, I want to let you know this is Nicco talking to you right now. Like, like you gonna get that. But it is the recognition I feel that we all have gotten. It is definitely a testament to the work. It all, for me personally, because Uncle Clifford is non-binary, Uncle Clifford still rocking the beard and still being pretty and still being full-figured and still being attractive, and looked at in certain ways. There are a lot of juxtapositions that I feel help open up conversation and expand the view of what beauty is, of what strength is, of what femininity and masculinity, what that duality is supposed to be. So I appreciate all of the different types of people and the non-binary components of our community that are being reached. So for me, it's not just like LGBTQ plus people that are coming up to me. It's not just hood folks that's coming up to me. It's not just women that are coming up to me. It's people, I think, that respond to all of us, that are intergenerational, people from all different backgrounds. Everyone is not Black. I have had people from overseas, come and talk about the show and have their same moments as well. So it's humbling, and it's a sign that we got to keep going.
And speaking of keeping going, season 3, the show has been renewed for season 3. Morocco, I'll ask you this, man. Obviously, well, first of all, you already told me you don't know what's happening. So what direction would you like to show? We saw how season 2 ended. It was some big revelations at the end, right? Like, from Lil Murda's character to Uncle Clifford's character to, one person getting out of there. Uncle Clifford took a twist. Got his club back. What direction would you like to see the show? Because there are some moving pieces. You're losing some people. It looks like you might gain some folks. What direction would you like to see the show head in season 3?
I mean, I like the direction we're going in. I mean, I don't have that. I mean, Big L need a lady. Let's be real. If I'm talking about Big L, Big L needs lady friends. You know what I'm saying? But
not lady friends. You see, right? You see, he started off with one, and it was like, give me a couple, 1, 2, 3.
Hey, Nicco.
What?
It's a poor rat that only has one hole, baby. You dig?
All right.
So,
what he said.
I mean, I'm cool, man. Like I like the surprises. I'm one of those people. Like, all right. When I get a script, it's almost like, okay, how do I fight my way out of this scene? How do I break this down? And then a lot of, with actors, when we do theater, we go beginning, middle, end. And you got 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on the play, or hour and a half to show your arc of that character. Same with film. You have that hour and a half, 2 hour, 3 hour film to show your arc of your character. With TV, you have 10 episodes. How many episodes a season is? So you have to show the arc, the ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys of that character. So I'm enjoying taking the ride of wherever we go. Like, okay, so when I get a script, I'm like a mad scientist, like, okay, how can I make this funny or subtle, or how can I needle, or how can I be an antagonistic? So I'm like that, walking around like, okay, all right, Katori, I see what you're doing. You know what I mean? So for me, I like the surprise, brother. As long as you don't kill me off, I'm cool.
Nicco, take us behind the curtain a little bit of P Valley. What is a typical day? Specifically, I'm asking for your character. Your character kind of gets done up the most. So what is a day as
He
far
needs
as
the
like
most work.
waking?
That's a lie. That's a lie. Ooh, they hate so tough. I swear to God, you can ask Brianna, because I'm telling you, there is nothing on right now. Just a little shimmer from the Lord, a little shimmer from the Lord, a little glisten from the gym.
The baby hairs take time, brother.
Yeah. but what is a day like? What time is the wake up? What is a day and like a day of shooting? What does that look like for you as far as like waking up from start to finish and when you're going home? What does that look like?
Well, for all of us, it is very different because we do have different call times because depending on the day. So if it's like a performance day where we are at the club and there's a lot of things going on, those are the hardest days to shoot. Sometimes performances actually may take 2 days to shoot. So that's a part of also why myself and the ladies all have doubles because of the physical restraints of it all, to do it all for 8 hours. And then you have to do a scene, the next day, or later that night, So it's always a lot. You also have to think about all of our glam. The show definitely highlights the grit and the glitter that we all have that's in our culture. So sometimes we got to get all our tattoos on. We got to remove some of the tattoos. We got to put some of the tattoos that are our characters' tattoos and take off some of our own personal tattoos. Because that too is also very important because it's about telling a story and the culture. The nails, to get my nails on, it really only takes like maybe 5 minutes. My makeup is about, I would say 45 to an hour. Morocco usually takes the longest because he is in Jason's share. Jason is our barber. He's a Yancey. He laced us all up. And, I start off, I always go to Jason. I try to get in Jason's chair first when Morocco's not called. Then, because I got to keep the beard sharp, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He does my beard and stuff like that every day. And then I go to makeup, and then I go to hair, and then I get dressed. But usually, sometimes that can be 4 in the morning phone or 3:30, like a pickup situation. And sometimes we don't leave until 2 or 3. So it can be different because I could be in for the scene, and even though we're still in the club, I've shot my coverage already, and everything is just maybe on the performer, or everything is on the scene that's happening back in the VIP room, and they're doing that later. So Bertram may have come in later in the morning. So I have been here from 3:30. Bertram, you might come in at like what?
8 o'clock.
You know what I'm saying? So like 5 hours later. So me and all the girls are through glam already. You know what I'm saying? The fellas come in and get their tattoos on, and then we meet up and we do the scene. And while we were waiting for the fellas to get, their haircut and get done through glam, we've already shot some of the performance aspect stuff that's going on, that when the camera's inside and up close, just to keep the day moving and rolling. It is a well-oiled machine. We are getting more oil, but the show is, what is that? Deceptive. It can be deceptive because it is just as big as like Handmaid's Tale and Westworld in terms of our lighting and our DPs, the camera angles, the camera work. Sometimes the camera crew is on the pole with you, while you're up there to get certain shots and things like that. So it's a lot, but it's a lot of fun and it's a lot of hard work.
If it's cool, Jeff, I don't mean to interject.
Yeah, go for it.
It's happening. It's happening already. So I think Nicco raises a good point because when you look at that call sheet, and you see a list of people numbering like 160, 170 people, it really puts into perspective in one day what it takes to pull off what we see is, with the final product. And so, Nicco mentioned our directors of photography, our folks who are doing lighting, sound, makeup, hair. Like, it takes a legit army to make this thing a reality. And so, like, those folks are so talented. Some of them more talented than us, been doing it much longer than us, with such specific crafts. And so I just think it's important that we always kind of highlight those folks, because they can go, forgotten in some instances. And so they get us through the day, essentially. Like, we wouldn't have a day were it not for some of those, those folks on the team as well.
Absolutely. Well, man, thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day. I know you guys got busy days and a bunch of stuff. We can't wait to see season 3. We're so glad you guys were able to make it down to Jackson State and visit Coach Prime. And I'm wishing you guys nothing but success with all your endeavors, but especially with one of my favorite shows on TV, P-Valley. Thank you again, and I appreciate you all.
Before you go, Jeff, what made you like the show? Like, what is it that you like about the show?
Okay, so I was late to P-Valley, right? Like, not even gonna lie. It was like, strippers, all this stuff. Maybe that might be.
You ain't never been to a strip club, dog.
I was just saying, like, it was. I was like, maybe that's doing too much for what. And then I think I finally saw an episode. Season 1, episode 1, and I was like, man, this ain't too bad. And it had a twist. It was different from what I encounter on daily television, whether it's because I do a lot of sports TV. I don't watch a whole lot of TV outside of sports anyway, but I do like series and I do like movies. And the fact that it was different than anything I'd ever watched. Now, like Coach Prime says, some of it may be a little more graphic than I expect, but I follow along, and the characters have real stories, right? Like, the characters they're people that you can relate to, like, because I come from backgrounds that have a lot of these similar characters, from all different types of backgrounds, all different types of walks of life, and it all is encapsulating, and it all kind of, like I said, it's not just random stuff that's happening, right? Like, it's not just like, oh, let's just throw this in here for the sake of throwing it in here. It's like, no, this is like a real life scenario, right? This is like really things that play out in real life. So that's why I've been following along. Like I said, if I wasn't a fan, I wouldn't know what's happening. I wouldn't have been able to like talk to and relate to the show. So I'm not even gonna act like I don't watch. Now I tune in every week and I keep up with you all on the screen. And that's why I was so excited that Nicco, you responded. Katori first responded. Nicco, you responded, and you guys are swift and actually made this happen, because I try to do these type of interviews all the time, and a lot of folks aren't responsive. That's why I'm very appreciative of you guys actually taking a few minutes out and talking to me, because I know you have busy lives, and I know there's a bunch of other things you could be doing instead of taking 30 some odd minutes out to talk to me. So I appreciate it.
Look, we appreciate you, Jeff. And I'm going to do you a solid. I'm going to track down some of Nicco's high school football footage, and we'll come back on, and we're going to review some of that. And then we'll have a more in-depth sports talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, we can do that.
We're going to be the powder puff. They normally do powder puff in high school. Doing it right around homecoming week.
Morocco, I was the homecoming king. And for the record, this brother over here went to JSU.
He did.
I did not know that.
He didn't graduate, but he went, though.
It's all the same. You're an alumni, you're an alumni.
Went in the front door, came out the back door, man.
It seemed to work out for you.
I went for like 3 semesters, and then I went to the Marine Corps, man. It was just one of those things. It was a great experience, and I was just having too much fun. And I had too much stuff going on in life that I had to go and go through my warrior training to get myself together. And here we are.
I hear that.
Thank you for your service too, bro.
Yes, sir. That's why I commended Coach Prime, because he's going to be very instrumental in those football players, everybody's lives because he's been there. He knows what it takes to get there, and he's just cultivating. Even if they don't make it to the pros, he's cultivating a hard work, a dedication, and just a goodness, a good brother who's just, every time he speaks, you're just like, okay, brother, I dig you. I like you. We need warrior spirits like you to come back, give back, and to build. You know what I mean? So Hats off to Coach Prime, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna also say hats off to you, brother, because to both of these brothers, actually, and I can actually expand that to all the brothers that's on the show. I think that one of the beautiful things about P Valley and actually being asked to come up here and we're talking about football, we're talking about Coach Prime, we're talking about homecoming. It's not lost, that this is a fact that this is a world that traditionally has a level of misogyny to it, and that is only relegated to certain topics and certain quote unquote people or that we're going to speak to and about and topics. And I feel that this show expands all of that and it expands the conversation. And as a gay man, these brothers right here have always met me with welcome and open arms and conversations. And to me, if we can echo these kinds of relationships in real life to cut out on the hate, to cut down on the violence, and to increase the understanding of each other and where we all are and what we all just want in life in terms of a level of freedom and just being, to just be, I think is awesome. I think it's awesome. And that's why I will always show up with these brothers and I will always represent you, even though you get on my nerves, Morocco Omari.
Look, let me turn some of that back around to Nicco too, because what he is doing is modeling what it looks like to lead and advocate and to build bridges, right? And so to be on a platform and navigating newer platforms and communities as an unabashed gay Black man, he's doing the work that a lot of folks are not only afraid to do, but that folks who aren't capable of doing, because he is so uniquely positioned, such a beautiful soul. And that is why he is welcomed with, open arms, because we love you, Nicco. And I think the more that we can have these, to your point, types of exchanges on platforms like yours, Jeff, through Coach Prime's platforms, through his invitations, the better off we'll be, not only as a community, but more specifically as Black men, because we have to really get in the practice of like unifying and loving on each other and loving each other through our differences and even because of our differences. So kudos to you, Nicco, for leading in that regard.
Even though you get on my nerves.
Last thing before I let you guys go, because that was awesome, that was beautiful, and I just want to ask you all three. You got some great cameos in season 2. Who, if you had to choose, if you reaching out there just shooting for the stars, who is someone that you guys would want to have a cameo? I saw Coach Prime; he was advocating for his cameo. I was gonna say, but who is someone that you would like to see on season 3 of P Valley? We'll start with you, Bertram, since you kind of already said.
Yeah, look, so I already got it worked out, and I hope I'm not overstepping here. But I've been trying to figure out Murder and I's backstory, and I'm almost certain that we were on the football team coached by Coach Prime. You know what I'm saying? I said it first.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? There's something in the ethers. The ancestor told me that one. So
okay.
That's a nice one. I like that. I like that. Morocco. Who's someone you think should make a cameo?
I mean, I think like Uncle Snoop should be my brother or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's the plug.
I mean, imagine me and Uncle Snoop.
Right, the plug.
I mean, I wouldn't mind like a Sanaa Lathan, Bahari,
there you go.
Fioka Nato, a little love interest, a little something, little shooby.
Wow, Sophie could be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little something like that. Roll up
so
in there.
specific.
Yeah, of course.
He was very specific. I wasn't gonna say it, but he's definitely real. Not just a cameo, what you wanted her to be. Nicco, who's the person, if you had to put it out there, who is someone you would like to have a cameo in season 3?
Real talk, like as you were talking, I was trying to think about it, and I really do not have an answer for you. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. I don't know. I have no idea. Because I'm here for both of those brothers, for Coach and for Snoop. What I know is that whoever appears on the show, they must be of the world. One of the things that I think that was great was that all the cameos that we have had, they don't take away from the show. They highlight who they are in the world. Like when we had Gigi McGuire, Jessica Dime, you know, and the girls on with Jocelyn, you know, it was all like they were a part of the world.
Big Frida.
Big Frida, a part of the world, you know what I'm saying? So I'm here for more of that, because it just gives the real people who we are portraying the archetypes of, you know, and the culture, the Southern people. Like I'm here for that, those kind of cameos, you know. The musicians, you know, that are getting their stories out there, you know, and the stories through song, you know. So
yeah. Well, once again, this is a few of the cast from the hit show P Valley. You got season 3 on the way. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day, and I can't wait. I wish you nothing but success moving forward, both with P Valley and all your other endeavors. And thank you guys once again for taking time out today. This is Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Victory Formation Sports Show with special guests from P Valley. You guys